Today's lesson is all about risotto. Risotto is one of many things that you can use with that veggie stock that we made together in the previous lesson. Here is the prep that we need to do in order to have risotto for dinner. Plate full of veggies. In this case, it's mushrooms and fresh asparagus. A couple more things. We need to add a little bit of butter into that saucepan. We're going to let that melt, so about a tablespoon of butter. Before we put in arborio rice. Now here's a key ingredient in risotto is the arborio rice in that stainless steel bowl in that lower left. Risotto is actually a method. So you're not going to find an ingredient called risotto. You're going to actually be looking in the supermarket for arborio rice. And when you put that in, as soon as you put that in, you have to set a timer for 17 minutes. And I've never goofed up risotto in 17 minutes. There's arborio rice. I'm putting in 1.5 cups to serve 4 to 6 people.
Alexa,
usually I make four
set the timer for
4
17
servings
minutes.
at 1 cup. And that requires about, I'd say just over a quart of stock. Key part about this dish is you need to have the stock simmering warm / hot at a not yet a boil, but a simmer, so that it is hot when it comes time to add in. So now I've got the butter and I've got the butter and the rice going, and I set a timer for 17 minutes. So you're going to notice that we're just kind of toasting the arborio rice as we get started in the butter. And then pretty soon I'm going to bring my first ladle in from that stock pot. I'm going to bring that into my arborio rice dish pan, the saute pan. I'll start bringing it in. And we just want to keep this wet the entire time. So I'm going to keep stirring, and then pretty soon when that's toasty, I just want to get that first maybe 3 ladles of stock in there. And we want to keep this wet for the first 10 to 12 minutes. You'll get really good at this after you make it 5 times. So I just want to stir in my first 3, and now it's really wet. But you're going to notice as it keeps going, I've got medium high heat on the front, medium low on the back for my stock. It almost feels like you're making spaghetti, except you keep adding the liquid into it each time. This consistency right here is what you're after. In order to achieve that throughout 17 minutes of cook time, I've got to keep ladling in more stock. So here I'm adding in more, stirring. You're going to stir a lot. This is something that you probably don't want to make for a big group or for a company, because it's going to be tedious. I suppose you could hold it at a low temp after you make it. So we're going to let that simmer through. You're going to see that reduction happen. That liquid is boiling off. And as soon as it dries up a little bit, then I need to keep adding that liquid stock in order to keep this wet so it doesn't get too hard, dry, and crusty. Risotto is actually one of my most memorable dishes. My wife and I were traveling in 2006, and I still remember this dish that I had in Rome. Fresh asparagus, shrimp that had been caught that morning, it tastes like it anyway, into this risotto style or arborio rice, and it was memorable. So I'm actually getting closer to the time where I'm going to add veggies. You're going to want to wait till about the 3-minute mark in order to add veggies, which is coming up. If you're going to do uncooked shrimp, you would add that with about 5 minutes left. Here we're going to add at 3 minutes left, you're going to add veggies. Again, if you have chicken that's pre-cooked, whether it's grilled, roasted, you could put it in at about the 5-minute mark. Shrimp that's uncooked at about the 5-minute mark also, and then it's perfectly done at that point. the liquid, the heat, that's going to cook uncooked shrimp during that time. So that'd be a nice addition to this. I'm just using veggies for today's example, and I'm just going to finish this the last 3 minutes, stirring, 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 adding that stock along the way to keep it wet, and just trying to be able to time it out well so that I have just enough liquid where it stays nice and soft, starchy, creamy, but I don't want it to be rock solid like you would see with an overdone rice, for example. So after the 17-minute mark, pull that rice off of the burner, start plating it. I have some Parmesan cheese waiting to add afterwards. Risottos are a really affordable meal. It's actually not well understood. It gets good prices at restaurants considering actually how affordable it is to make. Arborio rice is a little bit more of an expensive rice in comparison to others, but it is worth it in terms of what you get out of it, because it can be a side dish, it can be a main dish on its own. So I would just encourage you to be thinking about who are you going to make risotto for next time to practice this out. Just make time, 17 minutes, have your ingredients prepped and ready to go, and I would encourage you to make risotto for people that you spend time with and for people that you love.